Good afternoon, Rumbillions! Welcome to the show, the SpaceX Starlink live stream. We're at T-minus 5 minutes. Just made it. SpaceX is starting a little bit late. We're starting a little bit late. Tardiness for everyone. Awesome. Let's go ahead and muster up. Where you from? What you munching on? Locals, I do have a local chat open, so feel free to partake on that platform. SF Jeff, I'm guessing it's San Francisco Jeff. Looks like he's drinking either tea or coffee. I'm not sure which one. Good to see you, brah. Man, it looks beautiful in Florida, right? This one's Florida. Yes, because it's been such a long 24 hours. It's crazy that like just over 24 hours ago, just under 24 hours ago, we had a West Coast SpaceX launch, Starlink. Same thing, same kind of orbit. The difference is this is a new booster that SpaceX is using, but we're going to talk about something interesting that we mentioned in yesterday's YouTube live stream. There goes the strong back claws. It's the claw! Name that movie. Bet you can't. It's old school, brah. It's like, late 90s, I think. Russ Port from Wheelersburg, Ohio, on the Ohio River. Awesome. Good to see you, neighbor. Or see you in the chat, I guess. Virtually meet you. Dutch Christian, 100% real Twitter bot coming to cheer you on. Please don't devalue me. Elon's at war with the twat bots right now. Twat bots. Okay. Andy, good afternoon. Good afternoon, kind sir. We'll go big screen here in a second. Okay, so far we got a bunch of Americans in the chat. Americans.
What, is this a communist country or something? I thought this is America.
Carson Reed, hey, Orlando. Indiana, what's going on? ARM BFR in the chat. Andy, good to see you. Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2, Andy. Andy in Colorado. I'm not sure if that's the same Andy, but the BFR in the locals chat, and he is drinking beer. I'm guessing he's not eating beer. Laura Ann, you got it. Liar, liar. That is correct. Now, if you're on the Rumble, let's go big screen really quick before I forget, because I'm like that. Uma White. If you're on Rumble, which you are if you're watching this live, if you're watching this and it's on YouTube, we're not live. It's a little bit different. You can do the Rumble Rants chat, which is what I have my eye on right now, and the locals chat, and that's in real time, but I have to refresh every so often to read the comments if you're commenting below underneath the video, like Rick Porath, Stockton, California, Costco oatmeal cookies. I'm not a huge fan of oatmeal cookies unless they're like the little diabetes, I call them little diabetes. It's little, I've been calling them little diabetes for so long I can't remember the real name. Anyway, they're oatmeal cookies with the little cream in the middle. Those are really delish. All right, we'll turn the volume up here in a minute. Now, stay tuned, you guys, till after the launch, after the booster landing, because I got something special for all of you, because this is Rumble, and this is a pirate-themed live stream, and I'll explain why right now, but I have something special planned for you. I'm going to give a little pep talk, a little speech, so don't miss it. Make sure you stay tuned. So what's special about this launch in particular, other than that it's a new booster, they're actually going to be landing the booster, as we discussed in last night's SpaceX launch video. They'll be landing the booster off the coast, like 5-10 miles off the coast of Nassau, which for those of you who are fans of history, like I am, pirate history, that is where the pirates of the 1600s set up the first republic in the Western Hemisphere. So that's what the speech's theme is going to be on. I was mowing the lawn earlier today when it wasn't raining. It's downpouring right now, but earlier I was able to mow the lawn, and I was thinking about this launch today and the whole pirate thing while I was listening to my, pirate soundtrack music of both the Pirates of the Caribbean and Sea of Thieves. Great game, great soundtrack. I recommend both. But man, it's pouring right now, and it's thundering. So if this stream cuts out for whatever reason, it's because the weather made it so. It's not because I quit on you. Let's turn the volume up and enjoy this boomstick or broomstick.
For launch, we're just over 30 seconds to go. Range green, weather green, Falcon looking healthy. With just 30 seconds to go, let's watch Falcon take 53 Starlinks to low Earth orbit.
Yeah! Woo! Let's do it. Peeps, calm down. Oh, I forgot to raise the cover on the doggo cam. I got 18 seconds. I could do it.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Did it.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
He's looking at me like, you're weird, dude.
And liftoff.
Get it. Get it.
Starlink.
Rocket, SpaceX. Rock on, rocket.
Falcon is fishing downrange. M1D chamber pressures are nominal.
Successful liftoff of Falcon 9 from Space Launch Complex in Florida, bringing 53 Starlink satellites into orbit. This first stage lifting off for its first time.
Beautiful view on the left-hand side there.
Liftoff, gravity is pulling straight down on the rocket. As we ascend, we tilt the engines.
Nice.
That's called gimbaling. And
that looks like a new booster, brah.
So we're still going up.
No
we're
soot.
starting to pick up sideways.
She's not a sooty, dirty girl.
Away
Not yet,
from
but she will be.
pad. This is called a gravity turn. So this is what we use to get ourselves into orbit. Coming up next, we'll expect a call out for maximum dynamic pressure, or max Q.
Maximum aerodynamic pressure.
So max Q being the point where the stresses are highest on the vehicle. We're speeding up, the atmosphere is getting less dense, and so there's a point of maximum pressure on the vehicle. So now that we're through that, it should be easier and easier for Falcon to get into orbit. Now we've got 3 events coming up about a minute from now. The first of those being main engine
Start
cutoff,
MVAC engine chill.
or MECO. That's where we'll shut down all 9 of the Merlin 1D engines in preparation for the next event, which is stage separation, where the first and second stages will separate from one another. First stage continuing back towards planet Earth for recovery, and the second stage continuing on to that third event, second engine start
Falcon's
number
trajectory
1.
nominal.
Watch the
That's we heard a call out for engine chill beginning on the Merlin vacuum engine that's prepping the turbo pump on the Merlin vacuum in preparation for full propellant flow. Shortly after second engine start of the Merlin vacuum, we'll also have fairing deployment. And once we're in the vacuum of space, we don't need to carry those fairing halves anymore, and we'll bring them back to planet Earth for recovery. So
All right.
coming up, Miko.
I'm taking over, guy. This is my show now. I have commandeered your live stream like a real pirate should. Pirate life. Yeah, space pirate life. All right, coming up. Main engine cutoff. Looks like we have cutoff. And you saw the bag inflate on the right-hand side there. We have stage set. Goodbye, first stage. See you in a bit. Second stage, going to ignite that Merlin vacuum engine on the right-hand side of your screen. Check it out, brah. Boom. There go those reinforcement rings on the edge of the nozzle. Those are supposed to go away for transport structural purposes only. There go the fairing halves, worth $3 million a piece. So they like to recycle those and shoot those down through the atmosphere and gently splash them down in the Atlantic this time. Then they'll scoop them out, fish them out of the water, reuse them. Left-hand side of your screen, we've got a camera looking down the first stage booster. That camera is mounted outside the inner stage where that Merlin vacuum engine on the right-hand side of your screen was housed before stage set. You have those big titanium grid fins there made of titanium, like I just said. They used to be made of aluminium, as our UK blokes would say. Good day, chaps. And but it would start to like burn holes through them during reentry because you're hitting a lot of speed and a lot of atmosphere there. And I know it's already pretty holy. Hallelujah, holy. Stop, you're interrupting my live stream. Carries, I'm gonna mute you. You've been warned. I'll let you know when booster landing's coming up. But now they're titanium, and so they don't get extra holes burnt through them. Man, that freaking Earth is looking very reflective, brah. Check it out. Check it out, the glare, man, on the left-hand side there. And you see these poofs of cold nitrogen gas coming out of the first stage as well. There's a little poofer right there. All right, that's just to help orient the rocket, steer it, direct it toward its, its supposed trajectory toward the waiting drone ship. Stationed just off the coast of Nassau, Bahamas, former pirate life island. I got my Jolly Rocket mug because this is a pirate themed show. I was gonna steal my brother's pirate hat, but I forgot to, so I just got my usual hat on display on my dome right now. But we're gonna be talking more about SpaceX and pirates and our current situation of the day. At the end of this stream, I'm going to close it out with a little speech I wrote. Kevin's going to give a lecture, bringing back my teaching days. I didn't teach history, though, but it is a hobby of mine. Science involves history because all science is done in the past. Ooh, it's only done in the present for a moment, then it's in the past. Man, the weather looks so much better in space right now than it does in Ohio. I was hoping to fly today, get up in the air for the first time this season in my powered paraglider, but I mean, I've been keeping an eye on the winds because the weather's been gorgeous for the whole week, but the winds have been too gusty, too strong. And this evening it was looking pretty good, and then I actually checked out the radar. I was like, oh snap, I'm not going anywhere. So the flight has been scrubbed here in the Kevin household. Peeps is bummed about it, aren't you, Peeps? See, he's so depressed he won't even look at me. We're both depressed. Wilson's here too. You saw Wilson. He's still alive. I brought him back. I resuscitated him from our stream last night on the tubes. All right, we're coming up on the re-entry burn for that first stage booster on the left-hand side of your screen there. They're going to light a sea level Merlin engine. I keep wanting to say Raptor. Well, that's a different rocket. Carrie, you got about, sorry, didn't mean to yell into the mic. About 2 minutes, carries. Plural carries. Here we go. Light the engines. And now the new booster is officially all sooty because it's flying through its plume. No 409 in the world will get that off. Not that I want them to, because I think the boosters look so much better with little wear and tear on them. A little sootiness. Same with the Dragon capsules. Who wants to eat a normal marshmallow? You want your marshmallows toasted, right? Put them over the campfire for a little bit. Maybe burn them if you suck at it, but they always look better, a little toasty. So I like my Dragon capsules used, not just for appearance sake, but also they need to prove themselves to me before I would ever trust flying on them. That's not the same with Starship, though. I'll get on the first Starship, no problemo. Let's give me a chute bra. Give me a chute bra and some sort of ejector seat, I guess. It's not going to happen on Starship. We lost camera. Come on. We got to redeem ourselves from yesterday, Friday the 13th, and the fiasco that Carrie caused us. They got to keep the connection on the drone ship with Starlink so we get to see it, and Carrie actually gets to see an uninterrupted booster landing live. All right. 1 minute. Actually, you have less than 1 minute. It's probably closer to like 30 seconds. Carrie? Carrie? Coming. Here she comes to wreck the day. Name that movie. Oh, you already did. Okay, here we go. Check it out, just in time. Carrie.
Did you do a poll?
No poll. This is a rumble.
I bet it's gonna cut out.
There we go. We're gonna find out.
Pops is in the corner. He's going all the way in the basement.
Oh, I gotta turn the volume up. I almost forgot.
And we'll expect to see the landing legs deploy just before we touch
Stage
down.
2, terminal guidance.
You can see that our speed is rapidly coming down to 0.
Stay with us. Stay with us.
There's landing leg deploy.
Yes, yes, yes. That counts!
And a lovely touchdown.
Yes! You saw one! Good for
This
you.
booster's first landing, the 100.
That wasn't even Starlink, that was on the
recovery of a
booster
Falcon
itself.
9 first stage booster
Yeah, the camera
for
on
many more flights to
that
come.
makes more sense. Doesn't cut out as much.
Although they might use Starlink
Coming
on a
up.
booster. Elon only
Second
said they use it
stage,
on the drone ship. I can't
Coming
remember.
to its first, its next activity, second engine cutoff number 1.
What?
And the ground teams will then assess the orbital trajectory and give us a call out if we're
You won.
right where we intended to be.
I have to pay her to come on the show and candy. Lawyers don't work
The
for free.
successful shutdown
Bye.
of the Merlin vacuum engine.
Expected loss of signal, keep
And a beautiful view of our.
nominal parking orbit.
With that call out for nominal parking over orbit, that means the second stage is safely in orbit. Awesome shot of the first stage on your screen for its first landing. And with that, we're actually going to be ending our webcast for today's launch. As I mentioned previously, we will be confirming payload deployment over our social channels, so keep an eye out for that. That's expected around T+54 minutes into flight. We'll also leave the mission audio live on our YouTube channel if you'd like to follow along there through payload deploy.
All right, there's a link to their this live stream, but it's not going to help you because they're ending it. But if you just go to their YouTube channel, you can listen to their audio of mission control. But what we're going to do now, let me go to me only, is I'm going to follow up on my promise to read a little speech I wrote. Again, I was mowing my lawn today before the rain hit, and I was thinking about today's launch and how excited I was that they were going to land the booster off the coast of Nassau. And I was thinking about it, and my mind just started, going to its own little place, its own special place as I was mowing the lawn, as it usually does. And I started thinking about, pirates, and then about our current situation. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the thoughts that were going through my mind to finish out this video in the spirit of piracy. And, I was going to just do it like off the cuff, live. But then when I do things live, I always forget to mention specific, parts of my speeches. So I actually wrote this out. I'm just going to read it to you guys. Because this is Rumble, and I appreciate my Rumbillion fans. Okay, so, I think we'll just get right into it. We're going to end with this. So when I designed this Jolly Rocket logo you see behind me, it's also on my mug. Cheers. Yes, available now in our store. Link below in the description. Back to you, Kevin. When I designed this Jolly Rocket logo behind me and had it created by a talented fan of the channel a few years back, there were a few viewers who found it offensive, if you can believe it. I know, right? It was a reaction I expected. And so I took some time to calmly explain to a few of them that while I don't know much about art, ironically enough, I'm no fan, the exception being Bob Ross, of course, I do know that art like this is subjective. That is what makes art, after all. Art means different things to different people, and therefore I feel the negative interpretations of the individual are a personal problem. Now, that's not to say I can't understand the sheer personal anguish that comes from gazing upon such a controversial and ghastly picture during such an enlightened time in world history as this. I mean, clearly Jolly Rocket is way more offensive than Piss Christ or duct taping a banana to a wall. I mean, come on, man. You're not even going to use painter's tape? That's offensive. Which is why I choose not to hoist these colors during live streams of crewed missions. Instead, I fly the American Ingenuity design because I like that one too, and it was expensive to make, so I might as well use it. But as the designer of this art, I think I'm entitled to share what it means to me. In a word, or three, disruption. Disruption to post-Apollo complacency in the industry. Rebellion against naysayers and bureaucrats and their failing policies that kept the expensive complacency in place. And fortitude, understanding the risks to life and livelihood that pushes the envelope into new undiscovered territory, and yet courageously choosing to carefully and deliberately pioneer forth into that black void sea floating above our heads. So that's what that means to me, the Jolly Rocket design. And whether the company would admit it or not, SpaceX is the buccaneer of our day. I mean, they're even doing the bidding of the government because they can and the government can't, much like it was during the Anglo-Spanish War. And sure, while SpaceX's competition may publicly cheer them on at times, and make no mistake, in private, to a certain extent, this competition views SpaceX as a nuisance that is overthrowing the status quo. They're stealing all the contracts for themselves like a bunch of space pirates. The only saving grace to keep this from totally happening to these competitive companies is big government interfering in the free market to bail out companies that no longer can compete. It does need to be stated that the reality is, while the Buccaneers would steal from other ships, today it is other companies and agencies like the CCP that are the ones actually doing the thieving, ripping off SpaceX's designs. So in that particular way, SpaceX is not the pirate. But I would like to apply this understanding to all of our lives. Obviously, as many of you know, I like pirate history. Speaking of which, I showed off this ship during our stream yesterday, but I gotta do it on Rumble. Yeah, check out my pirate ship, brah. My pile of shit. My pirate ship. And this time I did it without breaking it. Winning. Oh, I shouldn't say that yet. I haven't put it back. Yeah, there we go. Didn't break. Now, where was I? I don't remember. Oh, yeah. Sure, while many pirates were murderers and thieves, kind of a problem, some participated in the slave trade, there were pirates that abstained from such unacceptable behavior. Some freed slaves and lived by a moral code. And generally speaking, pirates understood the value of freedom. Crews elected their captains, and of course, pirates made Nassau the first republic in the Western Hemisphere, as we discussed earlier. But after the war ended and their unconventional services were no longer required by the elites in the English government they served, the hypocrisy became obvious. Commandeering and looting ships was only okay if it was on behalf of the ruling class. So the Buccaneers chose their own path to make a life out of their piracy, even going after English vessels now. Then the 13 American colonies adopted a similar rebellious mentality that led to the Revolutionary War against the King of England later that same century, turning America into the second republic to exist in the Western Hemisphere. Yeah, we're American pirates, brah. So a couple years ago, when things first started going off the rails in our own country, politically speaking, I chose not to sacrifice freedom and liberty for a little safety and equity the elites were demanding we accept and obey, no questions asked. But a lot of people on Team Space felt differently and were all too willing to bend the knee to what was clearly unvetted and politicized science, lashing out in anger against anyone who wouldn't kneel with them. Ironically enough, it reminded me of the Church of England and how they handled science. It was then I told my brother that I was adopting a pirate life mentality, Kevin Haymeyer, space pirate. And he laughed in both amusement and approval because he too likes pirates and the movie The Martian. I don't care what names I'm called, how alienated they try to make me feel. It's fine, I'm a loner either anyway, but I'm not going over the cliff with everyone else, I told him. I'll rebelliously stand in place and let others move around me as they walk closer to the edge, trying to talk others away from it the best I can. And I noticed a lot of you guys did the same thing in your own way. And so I just want to say to all of you who have been virtually fighting the good fight, pushing back against this progressive woke culture of deceit, even if you feel isolated with no microphone in hand, thank you. Keep at it, you space pirate patriots, because so long as the devil roams the earth, our fight is not over. History will continue to repeat itself. But for the rest of you, the world could always use more men. Sorry, ladies, but society has already told you you're empowered. So this message is for the bros who are repeatedly scolded for their toxic masculinity. Despite the woke slanders and stereotypes the left may throw at you fellas, it's time for men to start acting like men again. Because as the saying goes, weak men create hard times for everyone, which is exactly what is happening right now in many Western countries. Trust me, if Blackbeard was our president, things would be different than what they are under Biden. The world, whether it knows it or not, is in desperate need of strong men, and not necessarily Blackbeard for the record. Being a man doesn't mean being an a-hole. Men, real men, are respectful. They don't prey on the helpless, and they defend those who can't defend themselves. But real men also aren't mentally weak pushovers. Men don't get offended by Jolly Rocket art in a YouTube video. I'm unsubscribing. In the words of Elon Musk, bon voyage. When challenged with untruths, men will stand up for the truth. There's no such thing as your truth. And men respond without fear of being called unflattering names because men are bold. In that spirit, I'd like to declare that dudes aren't women. Dudes cannot get pregnant. So put down the dress, guy. You may not act like a man, but you're definitely no lady. 40% of transgenders have attempted suicide, so they need genuine help, not encouragement. Enabling lies only weakens us all. And the fact that there is now a ministry of truth in our government that would love nothing more than to silence me for saying men can't be women means our spiritual battle over reality itself has arrived at our galleons, sloops, and dinghies, depending on whatever it is you have. So get in the fight, men. Hoist the colors. Let loose your words of wisdom, but anchor yourself to the truth, because the truth will always prevail. And I personally believe that now that the world has experienced what liberty really is, thanks to the pirates and patriots that came before us, freedom will prevail too. And now that we got a taste of it, we will accept nothing else. And that's the way it needs to be if humanity is destined to sail out among the stars. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a good time with you. And until our next one, Godspeed.